countries have a tradition of celebrating their defenders, the ones who sacrifice to protect the people and their freedom. But the ones I want to talk to you about are fighting and dying right now on the front line of a pitched battle of good versus evil, hate versus hope, tyranny versus slavery and freedom. They are the Ukrainian first responders, rescuers who are being targeted because they are rescuing and saving lives of civilians. Civilians who are the primary targets of the Russian invaders. My dad has been there documenting them saving lives, putting out fires, and pulling people out from the rubble of Russian rockets. You can see some of these rockets right here on this table. In fact, this rocket tip here is from one of those attacks. It took the life of a deer de Deuce, a grandfather who was asleep in his bed. Only his cat was saved from under the rubble by the rescuers, using their shovels and cranes and, mostly, their bare hands. All while his family stood helplessly watching and hoping as the search went on for hours. Just think, what if that was your grandfather? What if that explosion and death happened in your neighborhood, or at the end of your apartment building, and you watched the firemen carry out the body? How would you be feeling right now? Putin's army is trying to get rid of the Ukrainian defenders so that they can kill Ukrainian civilians. It's horrible to even imagine such a thing, but the reality of it is plain to see even for those that don't want to. It's hard to imagine that this could be happening for real in what we used to think of as a modern, civilized world. It sounds more like the science fiction of Star Wars movies that I often watch. Stormtroopers who just want to kill everything they encounter and who aren't smart enough or have any moral code that would inhibit them. That's how the evil empire trains stormtroopers and TIE pilots, but that's how Russian soldiers are trained in the real world. I came here today to talk to you about the heroic Ukrainian first responders, but it's hard to talk about what heroes they are without first setting the scene by showing what evil villains they are up against. Let me tell you how it is for those firefighters that my dad has been working with. None of them have their families with them. They have all sent their wives and children away to safer cities, even other countries. The only firefighter's son who is still around is also a firefighter, working next to his dad. And they don't just clock out and go home when their shift is over. They sleep in the bunker, the bomb shelter, under the station while they wait for the nightly arrivals. Rockets of various sizes and mortar rounds. Most nights, these firemen are putting out fires and digging through debris, like the burning house that my dad watched them save after a rocket attack. And the firemen continue sending us pictures of their daily arrivals, as they call them. It's like living in a movie, a tragic movie. Every night they wait for and listen to the bombs exploding. They can tell if it's their station in Nikopol or the neighboring station in Markanet that is going to answer the next calls, just by listening to the sound and intensity of the explosions. In Ukraine, they call these first responders heroes and defenders without weapons. But they do have a secret weapon that I want to tell you about. It's the love and compassion and dedication in their hearts that no swarm of missiles and drones or mortar shells can defeat. Hate and terror is no match for compassion and commitment. And that is what we are celebrating today as we honor our heroes without weapons. Every day we hear the sound of sirens from the app on my dad's phone, an alert that rockets are speeding towards Ukrainian towns. It reminds us to pray for the people who are standing in harm's way to protect and defend Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!